Hello, good people of Ableton land. I'm back with something new. With the release of Live 12.2 last week, Ableton finally upgraded the Max for Live version from 8.6 point something to 9. And this is great news. There's now all sorts of new stuff to play with. So I just want to preface this video and tell you that unfortunately this device is going to require you to have Live 12. I'm sorry. I won't be exclusively making new stuff that only works with Live 12. I fully intend to keep supporting Live 10 and 11, but I had to jump in and just build something with these new tools available to me. So my most popular devices I've released up until now have been focused on ambient stuff. And also my most popular things have been kind of like a collaborative effort with my customers. Devices like Prismatica, for example, I released with a certain amount of features, and it's since grown and grown based on requests from you, the users. And I love that. I really do. I love this back and forth. And I think this new one is no different. I've kind of gone down this long winding path or jam of development, adding stuff in that I think is fun. But I also really look forward to seeing what you all think of it. And if you imagine something that might be cool to have, just reach out and I'll see what I can do. Let's jam on this, collaborate on it. And yeah, I'm really happy about this thing as it is in version 1.0 though. So it's called Spectranaut. It's an absolute ambient wonderland, playground, etc. It might be easiest to describe it as an ambient audio arpeggiator. I have used a similar description in the past for Prismatica, but this is also quite different from that. I think you'll see what I mean. It uses spectral resonators, several of them, and it uses reverb, a bunch of reverbs, and it can turn a very basic sound into something moving, flowing, evolving, generally something dreamy. But of course there's other use cases for it as well. Let's just jump in here. So to begin with, over here on the left, we have a spectral resonator section. So based on spectral processing, spectral resonators use spectral resonances and pitched overtones to add tonal character to any audio source. Under the hood, we're using one of the new Max 9 features that allows us to build with some of the stock Live 12 devices. So this is actually the same spectral resonator that's available to you as a stock effect in Live 12, but here we're doing things differently. We actually have two of them in parallel. Let's start some audio here. I'm going to drag in a wavetable synth. And I'll just set it to stick with a sine wave for now. And we'll just make a short clip that's playing C. So we'll start playback here. And immediately we're not really hearing anything because we're playing a C3 and both of these resonators are also set to C3. But let's change this one to say maybe E2 and change this one to D3. And right away you can see that's kind of just an easy way to take some audio material that's maybe in one key and completely shift its tonal character into whatever key you're working in. And this is cool, but we're also taking advantage in this device of the new scale modes in Live 12. So each of these pitch dials has a scale button below it. And when you turn either on, it's going to check what the global scale is up here. And it's then going to alternate through the notes in whatever scale is selected. And suddenly we have movement and harmony. We can set the timing of each of these. So now it's going to change this every half bar and this one every eighth bar. We can also raise or lower the octaves of these notes that are selected here. So we can push this one up and bring this one down. And then we can also choose if we want to slide between the notes or just change immediately. When it's at 0, it's just going to change immediately. Let's bring this back up first. And then, yeah, we'll turn up some slide just to hear the effect. And yeah, so this is kind of where the device took off for me, inspiration-wise. When I got this portion working as I wanted it to, whatever audio you throw in is going to be resonated differently depending on what the audio contains. So for example, we'll just kind of shift this up. It's getting its characteristics from the original audio. So I mean, it has endless applications. You know, it's you can try it on vocals, on drums. In fact, let's do that. Let's try it on vocals and drums. We'll just move this over here. So now I'm going to turn the decay way down, because for drums, for rhythmic stuff, we don't actually want a bunch of decay, and I'll get to these controls shortly after. We just do a little demo here. Let's turn the reverb down for this one. This is actually a really interesting idea to me, the idea of turning rhythmic things, things that are not melodic, into things that are melodic and rhythmic. Very interesting. Cool. Let's try on some vocals. So for the vocal, I'm keeping the decay quite low. We'll keep the, well, let's start actually on the low dry wet, just so we can hear the vocal. Turn it up. Turn down this octave. Yeah, cool. So let's go over all the controls and let's experiment a little more. We'll go back to a pad sound. Let's see, I've got this quite a complicated pad actually. We'll turn Spectranaut off for one moment, and again, just to show you what we're dealing with here, we're just playing a C3. So this is how it sounds without any processing. And we will turn Spectranaut on. Turn up the decay. Turn the mod down a little bit. Turn up some reverb. Turn up one of the octaves here. So let's talk about the controls. We've got various controls here to control the resonators in this section. We can add unison by adjusting the amount of unison here. This is with none. And then this is with a little bit of unison. And then we can also set the amount of unison voices here. I think there's a sweet spot actually with low values. I really like 2 voices, and I really like 0.10, 0.1 or so of unison. It can get a little crazy when you go too high, but I like it just around here, just a little sweetness. Below that, we've got some modulation options. There are 3 modes of modulation. We've got chorus, wander, and granular. And these are quite nice to experiment with as well. And we can dial in the rate of the modulation here. I'll go back to chorus for now. Actually, let's just turn it off for now so we can hear the pure device. And then shift, it transposes the input signal's spectrum up or down within a range of plus or minus 48 semitones, so 4 octaves. And there's a note from the Ableton manual here that this does not actually shift the spectrum of the actual effect, but rather the spectrum of the signal which is fed to the effect. So it obviously makes it a lot more bright when we go up and a lot more dark when we go down. Decay adjusts the decay time in milliseconds of the effect, and so a higher value is going to lead to sustained tones. When we're low, it's really just the decay of the actual signal coming in, and then as we go higher, things get long. And this will be a lot more noticeable if you're using short percussive elements. So stretch increases or decreases the spacing between the harmonics. Values below 0 will compress the distance, while values above will stretch it. And at 100%, only odd harmonics are created, which leads to like a square wave type sound. And then up on the side here, we've got high filter damp, which is just gonna dampen the highs. And the low damp, which is going to dampen the lows, of course. And then the harms here stands for harmonics. So this changes the number of harmonics that is used in the spectral resonators. More harmonics will lead to a brighter sound, and fewer to a darker sound. Like so. Also keep in mind that the higher number of harmonics is going to increase the CPU usage. But because we're using a stock Live 12 effect here under the hood, it's actually quite nicely optimized. Let's turn this back up a bit. And then we've got your typical dry-wet control here, just to adjust the amount of the spectral resonators that's going to be mixed in with your dry signal. And below that we've got a freeze button, which is actually using a different Live 12 component under the hood, spectral time, to just instantly freeze the output of the spectral resonators into a beautiful drone. So that's the resonators. It's worth noting here that these controls are controlling, these controls here are controlling both of the resonators parameters, other than the pitch, of course, which has its own separate controls. But yeah, so there's essentially, under the hood, there are two spectral resonators, and these controls here are controlling both at once because, well, really, if I gave you control of all of them, it would just be a huge, massive device, and it seems reasonable to have the spectral resonator parameters matching at all times. But let me know if I'm wrong on this. Of course, this device it's open to your feedback, and I want to make it work for all the musicians out there. So moving to the right, we've got the second half of the device, which is a series of reverbs, but also with some spectral resonator action, as you'll see. So we're tapping into the quartz reverb algorithm from Live 12's hybrid reverb here. And the quartz algorithm is like a hall reverb with some kind of echoes in the tail, kind of subtle echoes. So we can control the decay, of course. We can also freeze the reverb tail. We'll hear it more if I turn up the dry wet. I really like having these various places where you can freeze the signal as it passes through the device. So we'll turn the freeze off here. And then the diffuse dial, it controls the density of the reverb tail. Low values produce sparser tails. Turn this down. And high values will produce denser tails. And then here again, we have another set of controls for another spectral resonator. So we can now impart a different tonal character to just the reverb. So if you think about it, we've already got the option over here to add two different notes, the audio coming in, and now we can add a third note to the reverb that's being applied, and suddenly we have 3-part chords, and I just think that there's so much potential here for ambient exploration. So for example, I can turn this up. Or again, I can click the scale mode, and I can just have it kind of meander through different notes of the current scale. And then we also have the octave switch here, so we can go up or down. And then the one difference here is that we don't have a slide control here. Instead, we have a mix control, because maybe there's situations where you don't want your reverb to be processed through another spectral resonator. So in that case, you can either turn it off completely and just have good old reverb, or you can mix it into taste. Then moving along, so mod is going to control the amount of movement within the algorithm's reverb tail. Less is going to have less movement, and more modulation creates more movement with kind of a chorus effect. Size controls the size of the virtual room in which we're reverberating. Damping controls the amount of high frequency filtering within the reverb algorithm. Higher values are going to have darker reverberation sounds. Distance controls the virtual distance of these reflections, kind of the subtle echoes. So lower values put them closer to the listener, and increase their density, while higher values, they place them further away and increase the time between the echoes. And then here, just because sometimes we can never have enough reverbs, we've got a bonus dark, long hall reverb that you can just roll in as you like, if the situation calls for it. We're getting pretty reverby here. And then we've got your dry wet control here to choose how much reverb we want. Of course, when it's turned all the way to the left, we have no reverb, just the spectral resonators. And then in the middle, around 12 o'clock, we have a nice blend. And then all the way to the right, we have just straight reverb, fully wet. And again, so you're aware, we've actually got a reverb sandwich going on here. We've got the audio coming in from the spectral resonators. It's going into the quartz reverb algorithm, then it's being processed by another spectral resonator here, and then it's being fed into another quartz reverb, allowing the spectral processing to also receive some reverb. And again, these reverb controls are controlling the reverb parameters for both instances of those quartz reverbs, again, to save space. And then lastly, I've just put a limiter at the end here, just to keep things in check, or if necessary, to boost things higher, so we can raise the gain like so. Nothing too fancy. That is Spectranaut. It's been a lot of fun to make this. Very soothing, actually, because I've been listening to sounds like this the whole time. It's been a lot of fun to just play around with the two, and yeah, just leaving it in the background. It's been very soothing. Just having these beautiful ambient tones meandering around my headphones. I'm quite happy with the device. And again, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you as a musician might wish could be added in a future update, and we'll really kind of build this device together. Also, on a technical side, if you've used a lot of Max for Live devices, you may be familiar with the classic issue of Max for Live devices clogging your undo history in Ableton Live when they're automating parameters. Like, for example, if a Max for Live device is automatically adjusting some dial behind the scenes, like these pitch dials, when you go to undo something else in Ableton, you actually can't find the thing you're trying to undo because the history has been clogged by all these subtle changes that Max for Live is doing. And I'm happy to report in this device, that's actually not an issue. I've found a way to work around it. And I'm not going to go super deep into the technical explanation, but I'm just happy to report this. And it's just a nice little thing to have. Your undo history will be untouched as you explore ambient worlds. What else? Oh, one small thing. While some of my other devices have kind of gone in their own direction as far as the look, the colors, and the design, I thought with this one that I would just kind of try to follow Ableton's design guidelines. So whatever theme you're using, you'll see that it actually adjusts quite nicely. And I'm proud of this. I think it looks like an Ableton device. Cool, I'll leave it on that one. That's it. Again, this device is only for users of Live 12. I'm sorry to you folks still on 11, but this won't be the norm for my devices going forward. I had to jump in and get my hands dirty with these new features. So if you're on 12.2, you won't need to do anything special to run this. If you're on Live 12.0 or 12.1 and you haven't upgraded to 12.2 yet, first of all, I recommend you do, but if you're not ready to yet, the device will still work for you, but I think you'll need to manually install Max 9 first. You don't have to own Max 9, but you can just download it, install it, and you're good to go. Yeah, that's it. There's links down below if this is the sort of thing that interests you. I appreciate you so much for being here, for finding this video however you found it, for watching it this far. I've said it before, this is my livelihood. I'm a dad to the coolest tractor-obsessed 2-year-old dude, and I'm doing this development stuff when I can find time in between all the madness that is raising a toddler with my wife. And I'm so grateful for the people who have been sticking by me, supporting me, sending nice emails, sending music they're making with my devices. It's a beautiful thing, and I hope to continue to build this trust with you all, and just to help to inspire you to make great music. I hope you're having a wonderful day, wherever you may be. Actually, feel free to let me know where you are in the comments. It's cool to kind of find out where people are around the world. But yeah, I hope your day is going great. Thank you for your time. Links down below to my shops. Talk soon, and peace.